Suffer in silence. Every time you complain, you become weaker. Every time you vent about your problems, you give away your power. Every time you talk about what's wrong instead of fixing it, you train your mind to be a victim. This audiobook will destroy your need to be heard and rebuild you into someone who suffers in silence, acts with purpose, and becomes unbreakable. Complaining is not release, it's rehearsal for failure. If you're ready to stop talking and start becoming, this is where your transformation begins. Let's get to work. Complaining is a trained weakness. Every complaint is a decision to stay weak. Your brain doesn't differentiate between venting and problem solving. It only knows you're focused on the problem. The more you talk about what's wrong, the more your neural pathways strengthen around victimhood. Complaining isn't cathartic. It's conditioning yourself to lose. You weren't born a complainer. You became one. Children cry to signal needs, but adults complain to avoid responsibility. Society taught you that expressing dissatisfaction is healthy, but in reality, it's a slow poison that keeps you trapped in emotional loops. You learned this behavior, which means you can unlearn it. The complainer versus the doer. Two paths, one choice. In every situation, there are people who talk about the problem and people who fix it. Complainers bond over shared misery. Doers separate themselves through silent action. Which one are you? Your habits today are building your identity tomorrow. The dopamine trap of venting. Complaining feels good because it's an addiction. When you vent, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical triggered by drugs, social media, and junk food. You think you're getting it off your chest, but you're actually feeding a cycle that makes you crave more venting. The relief is temporary, the weakness is permanent. Your friends aren't helping you, they're enabling you. That friend who always listens to your complaints isn't making you stronger. They're giving you permission to stay stuck. Real support doesn't validate your feelings. It challenges your excuses. If your circle encourages venting, you're in an echo chamber of mediocrity. Every complaint rewires your brain to expect sympathy instead of solutions. Neuroscience proves that repetitive behavior creates habit loops. The more you complain, the more your brain anticipates emotional rewards from others' validation. You become dependent on external comfort, which destroys your ability to self-regulate and self-correct. Silence builds mental armor. The strongest people you know say the least. Elite performers, military operators, and top athletes share one trait. They don't broadcast their struggles. They suffer privately, process internally, and move forward without announcing their pain. Silence isn't suppression. It's strategic emotional management. When you stop complaining, you stop being a prisoner to your emotions. Speaking about your frustrations keeps them alive in your consciousness. Silence forces your mind to metabolize the problem faster and search for solutions instead of sympathy. The act of not venting accelerates your emotional recovery time dramatically. Quiet endurance creates a reputation that words never will. People respect those who handle adversity without drama. When you consistently show up, work hard, and never complain, you build credibility that no amount of talking can manufacture. Your silence becomes your brand, and it's bulletproof. The victim identity and how to kill it. Every complaint is a declaration. I am powerless. Language shapes identity. When you say, "This is so hard," or "Why does this always happen to me?" you're programming your subconscious to believe you're a victim of circumstances. You're not describing reality. You're creating it. Victims talk about problems. Victors solve them without announcement. The gap between these two types isn't talent or luck. It's narrative control. Victims need witnesses to their suffering. Victors need results. The moment you stop narrating your struggles, you start overcoming them. Your story about yourself is either your prison or your power. You can frame every challenge as something being done to you or something you're moving through. One narrative keeps you stuck, the other propels you forward. Change your story by changing your speech. No complaints, no excuses, just execution. Stop proving and start doing. Complaining is disguised self-pity dressed as conversation. You think you're sharing your experience, but you're actually seeking validation for your emotional state. Every time you complain, you're asking, "Do you see how hard I have it?" Strong people don't need witnesses. They need work done. The need to be understood is a weakness you must abandon. Not everyone will understand your struggle, and that's fine. Explaining your hardships to others is energy spent on managing perception instead of solving problems. Let your results speak, not your grievances. Action eliminates the need for explanation. When you're too busy executing, you don't have time to complain. The gym doesn't care about your feelings. The deadline doesn't care about your stress. Reality responds to action, not articulation. Do the work in silence. Let others wonder how. Pain without performance is just noise. Suffering isn't noble. Results are. Many people wear their struggles like badges of honor, expecting credit for enduring hardship. But pain without progress is wasted energy. The only suffering that matters is suffering that moves you closer to your goal while staying silent about it. Complainers perform their pain. Champions metabolize it privately. There's a difference between someone who struggles and talks about it versus someone who struggles and converts it into fuel. One seeks sympathy. The other seeks superiority. Your pain is private data. Use it internally, never externally. The world rewards outcomes, not effort narratives. No one cares how hard your journey was if you didn't finish it. History remembers winners, not whiners. You can complain about the mountain, or you can climb it in silence and plant your flag at the top. Only one of these options changes your life. The social cost of complaining. Complainers repel strong people and attract other victims. Your vibe determines your tribe. When you constantly vocalize problems, high performers avoid you because you're an energy drain. Meanwhile, other complainers flock to you because misery loves company. If you want to level up, shut up. People don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. Every complaint you share makes others feel drained, burdened, or uncomfortable. Over time, they associate you with negativity. You become that person who always has a problem, and opportunities stop flowing your way. Your reputation is built in moments of pressure, not comfort. How you handle adversity publicly determines how others perceive your character. Complain during hard times, and you're labeled weak. Stay composed and silent, and you're labeled resilient. Your response to difficulty is your social currency. Stoic endurance. The ancient method. Marcus Aurelius commanded armies without complaining once. The Roman emperor faced plagues, wars, and betrayals, but wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." His philosophy: accept what you cannot change, control your response, never vocalize weakness. Stoicism teaches that complaining is choosing to suffer twice. First, you experience the event. Second, you relive it through talking about it. Every complaint extends your pain unnecessarily. Stoics trained themselves to observe discomfort without judgment or narration. They suffered once and moved on. Modern application: the 24-hour silence rule. When something bad happens, commit to 24 hours of zero complaints. Process it internally. Journal if necessary. But don't speak it. Watch how much faster you recover when you're not reinforcing the negative narrative verbally. Silence accelerates healing. How to rewire your complaint reflex. Awareness first. Track every complaint for 48 hours. Most people don't realize how much they complain because it's subconscious. Use your phone to note every time you complain, even minor grumbles. The data will shock you. You can't change what you don't measure. Replace complaints with solutions or silence. Every time you feel the urge to complain, ask, "What's the solution?" If there's an action, take it without announcing the problem. If there's no solution, accept it and stay silent. This simple substitution rewires your brain from victim mode to operator mode. The 30-day no complaint challenge. Commit or stay weak. For 30 consecutive days, eliminate all complaints from your vocabulary. If you break the streak, restart from day 1. This challenge is brutal because it reveals how addicted you are to verbal weakness. Those who complete it report feeling invincible, because they are. The power of the unspoken. Silence is the ultimate display of internal control. Anyone can react, yell, or complain. It takes zero discipline. But staying quiet when every fiber of your being wants to scream? That's mastery. That's power. The unspoken response is the most powerful response because it proves you're in control of yourself. People fear those who don't need to be heard. There's something deeply intimidating about someone who endures difficulty without broadcasting it. It signals depth, discipline, and danger. When you stop complaining, you become unpredictable and therefore respected. Your silence makes others nervous, and that's your advantage. Your legacy is written in what you didn't say. Years from now, no one will remember your complaints. They'll remember how you carried yourself through the storm. They'll remember that you were the one who stayed calm, stayed focused, and stayed silent. That's the reputation worth building. That's the life worth living. Conclusion. Here's what you need to understand. Every complaint you make is a vote for the person you don't want to be. Every time you vent, you're training yourself to be weak. Every time you seek sympathy, you're surrendering your power to someone else's opinion of your pain. This ends now. From this moment forward, you suffer in silence. You process privately. You act without announcing. You become someone who doesn't need validation because you're too busy becoming undeniable. The world doesn't reward talkers. It rewards doers. It doesn't celebrate victims. It celebrates victors. You have a choice right now. Keep complaining and stay exactly where you are, or shut up, get to work, and become someone you've never been before. 30 days. No complaints. Not one. Track it. Prove it to yourself. And when you complete it, you'll realize you didn't need anyone's sympathy. You needed your own discipline. Now go earn it. Suffer in silence. Win in public. That's the way.